IELTS Indicator test. In this video, I'm going to talk about this brand new test that's just come out and it's available very soon for you to book. In this video, I'm going to cover what this brand new test is, why we have it, whether you should book this test, whether you should take this test or not, how to book for this test, and then also the process of actually taking this test. So first of all, let's talk about what IELTS Indicator test is. It's a brand new test released by the IELTS organisation, which is IDP, the British Council and Cambridge University. The three organisations have together come up with a new test format that is going to allow you to take an IELTS test from your own home without any need to go to a test centre or to sit face to face with an examiner. Now this is something new, I think you'll agree. Let's talk about why we have this brand new test called IELTS Indicator. Well, at the moment we have this problem with a virus, and in many countries IELTS tests are not available. You cannot book or you cannot take an IELTS test. A lot of countries you can still take a test, and so countries where you can still take a regular IELTS test are not really affected by this. However, in a lot of countries that can't take an IELTS test, there's this problem of university enrollment, and now is kind of the time when a lot of people are wanting to get IELTS test scores in order to study abroad. So that's the reason why this test has emerged as a way of helping people in countries where they can't take a regular IELTS test. Now, no doubt this is partly also being pushed by the universities themselves, because overseas students pay huge fees and universities rely on your huge fees in order to operate. And many universities are reporting that they have huge financial problems and budget shortages. So they're very, very keen to get international students. And we could also say that the IELTS organisation itself is losing a lot of money at the moment through not being able to have tests. For instance, the IDP share price has dropped about 30% so far this year. Okay, but all that doesn't matter. What I think is important is, should you take the test? And I'll tell you what I think are the conditions as to whether you should take this new IELTS Indicator test. And note the name Indicator, it's going to give you an indication of your score. So these are the conditions whether you might want to take a test. 1, you want to study overseas this year. So you need an IELTS score soon, then this test might be for you. 2, you're in a country that does not currently offer regular IELTS tests, so you're unable to take a test right now, then this test might be for you. And 3, you're going to be taking an academic test. There is no general version of this available. It's only for academic students. It's only for people who want to go overseas and study at a university. Now, I suppose if you really need an IELTS score for a job, you could contact the prospective employer and ask them whether they're going to accept this grade. They may, it's possible. At the moment, this is so new that we don't even know what universities are going to be accepting this grade. You're almost going to have some blind faith that your chosen university is going to allow you to use a test score from IELTS Indicator. So maybe I haven't quite explained this part of it enough. Basically, the purpose of this test is to give you an IELTS test score that you can then show to an academic institution to show that you have the English proficiency that they need. Now, normally this would be done through a regular IELTS test. A lot of the education institutions have indicated that they will accept this IELTS Indicator score. Now, it's not 100%. It's not every single institution is going to accept this score. So another part of your decision making as to whether you should take this test and pay the money, no doubt. I don't know how much this is going to cost. So, all right, back to this decision of should you take this test. I think if you meet those qualifications that I said before, that you want to study overseas, that there isn't a currently available test, and that you're taking the academic test, you should book this test, and you should book it as soon as you can, and that's on the 22nd of this month. Now, on IELTS websites, they're telling you that you should check with your institution first to see if they're going to accept this test. But this is so new that the institutions themselves may not know. So really, I think there's going to be huge demand, I think, for this test. If you meet those 3 requirements, I'd be trying to book your test as soon as you can. In the meantime, maybe try and send off an email or make a phone call to the specific academic institute and find out if they're going to accept this score or not. But a lot of them are not going to be able to tell you because this is so new. And so you're going to have some sort of blind faith and just hope that they will. But my guess is most of the universities are going to embrace this. They're going to accept it because there's nothing else and they're losing huge money and student numbers that they need. All right, now let's move on and talk about how you can book your test. As of today, as of the day I'm making this video, you cannot book your test. You must wait until April 22nd and then you can book your test online. I'll put a link below. Now, make sure you do this on April 22nd. There are going to be limited places. You must act quickly. Don't dither around and think for 3 days. If you want to be taking this test, you want to be booking on the 22nd because it's likely that this is going to book out, that there's just not going to be enough places. All right, so you must get onto it early. You can book as of April 22. Now, tests are only going to be run once per week, and it's for all 4 skills. So you're going to be doing all 4 skills of the test. I'll get onto this in a minute. The cost, as I've said, I don't know. I don't know how much this is going to cost. If I had to guess, I would say it'll be the regular fee minus about 20%. That's my guess. We'll see how that turns out. I can't see it being more expensive than a regular test. It could be the exact same price. I hope they make it a bit cheaper because it's not actually going to be costing IELTS as much to run these tests. Now, as far as the results are concerned, good news there, you're going to receive your results within 7 days. Okay, so within 7 days of taking the test, you're going to get results. So this is a good thing. Right, now let's move on to the conditions of taking the test. So first of all, you're going to be taking this test in the comfort of your own home. So this is a great and wonderful thing. You need to have your home ready and prepared in order to take this test though. Here's some of the requirements. You're going to need a quiet space, so make sure there's not a lot of noise. You're going to need a computer. You cannot use a cell phone or a tablet. You're going to need a microphone. You're going to need a web camera in order to take the speaking test. You're going to be taking the speaking test with a trained examiner, one-on-one. You're going to need some speakers or headphones for the listening test and the speaking test. I would recommend headphones for the listening test because you can block out all noise, but speakers for the speaking test because when you wear headphones, it often distorts your hearing and you can't hear yourself well and it'll influence your pronunciation. And practice with all this gear first. You don't want to be doing poorly during your speaking interview because of technical issues or being uncomfortable with the audio setup that you've got. Now, in terms of how the test's going to take place, well, there's already computerized tests running, so the listening, reading and writing are going to be conducted the same way. Note that you'll need to be doing your writing on a computer and not by hand. If you don't have great typing skills, that's going to disadvantage you. not much can be done about that. Practice a little bit if you can. If you are practicing for your writing test, practice on a computer, not paper, because you must take the test on a computer. And then, like I've said, the speaking test is going to be done by webcam. All right, so you must have a webcam set up, test it all before you take your test. Let me just tell you real quick about some ideas for preparing for your test. We'll just follow all other ideas for how you prepare for an IELTS test. I've got lots of videos on this. I've got some resources that can help you. My next video is going to be about resources for preparing for this test. So make sure you subscribe to me and turn on the updates so that you get that video. That's going to be a really important video. But basically prepare for this test like any other. Cambridge books of past tests for listening and reading. Look at my videos for the writing and speaking section. I've got a whole lot of links below for some resources like my videos. I've got a bunch of free PDF files. I've got 140 pages about how to prepare for your test. I've got another 70 pages about current speaking questions and model answers. So download those, go into my website, link below. And then I do have 2 paid services. One is writing correction, where you can send me in your writing tasks, link below, and also mock speaking test. I would strongly recommend you have a mock speaking test with me, because this is going to simulate what you're going to have in this sort of official IELTS indicator test that you're going to be having. So simulate it. Simulate what it's like to have a one-on-one test over the internet. Okay, link below if you want to do that. Right, I know there's going to be bunches of questions about this test. Please put your questions below in the comments section. I will do my best over the next few days to reply as soon as I can. I do need to sleep. I'm on GMT +7, so there'll be certain times of the day where I can't answer your questions. But during regular times, I should be able to answer most of your questions within a couple of hours. So please put your questions below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you see somebody else's question and you know the answer to it, save me a bit of time and just put in your answer, and I'll check those, and if there's anything wrong, I'll tell you. So questions below, resources below. Overall, I think this is exciting news. I think it's great for you if you've been held back due to not being able to take a test. This is now an opportunity to have a test. It's kind of nice that you can take the test in your home, because that reduces a lot of the anxiety. And then the only sort of question mark is, will my institute accept this test? It's hard to know right today. Maybe in a week's time we'll have more clarity. I think you should go ahead and take this test. Take the opportunity now. All right, best of luck with your test taking this year, and stay safe. Be careful about this nasty virus that's going around right now.